Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Frontrunners Innovate. And we have such an innovation-oriented, say episode coming on at you now. And it's not the way that you think. Normally, when we talk about innovation, we talk about technical things and not creative or artistic or, experiential types of things. Today, you're going to get that juicy little tidbit of something that you've probably been hankering for ever since you knew that New Year's was coming. So here we sit, day two into the new year of 2025, and I have brought to you two lovely ladies who have figured out a way to bridge a particular gap, and I will call it the Afro-Brazilian sort of gap, as they have termed that, and I'm picking it up from them. We have Emma, who is a face that you recognize from Frontrunners Innovate as being sort of a captain of business in the dental world in Africa. So welcome to Emma. Emma is Emma Oliveira, Dr. Emma Oliveira, and a partner of hers, Rashida Musa. And Rashida, I think last I talked to you, you were in the United States.
I know I'm based 100% in Accra, Ghana, but I'm actually a Canadian.
Oh, you're Canadian. Okay, for some reason
I
I was thinking
am.
you were in California when we talked or something before. So nice to know
I'm glad
you're
I give off
Canadian.
that vibe.
All right, fantastic. So the two of these ladies have figured out there's an opportunity, yet a gap to be filled that brings that sort of diaspora, that feel for, exploring an area that has a rich history that ties Africa to that area of the world. And so we're going to explore that in the way that they did and have them share a little bit more about that. But before we get there, let's get to know the two of these ladies here. So Emma, we should know all about you because we've had you here before, but let's start with you. So go ahead and share a little bit about your background and what brought you into this interesting new space that you've come across.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mary, for having me here once again. It's always a pleasure to be here. So Emma Oliveira, a multi-award international dental surgeon. In fact, I wear many hats.
Yes,
and
you do.
Serial entrepreneur. But today I'm here to talk specifically about my role in Beyond the Waves. So I'm a proud partner and co-founder for Beyond the Waves, right? Which is an initiative that connects Africa diaspora to Brazil, specifically Salvador, Bahia. And we facilitate trade, business opportunities, cultural exchanges, and a lot of beautiful things between people from the diaspora and then Bahia, Salvador. Yeah. So I'm very happy here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma. So Rashida, tell us a little bit about you and how did you get to meet this dynamo? You must be a dynamo as well, because otherwise we wouldn't have the two of you together. So how did you get to meet her and how did you get involved?
Oh, absolutely. So a little bit about myself. My name is, again, Rashida, and I run an AI consultancy agency here in Accra, Ghana. I started working in AI in 2017 and kind of serendipitously, I ended it back here in Ghana, where I train professionals and corporate entities on how to successfully integrate AI solutions into their operations. I'm part of a women's group in Ghana. There's so many networking communities in Ghana. And I met Dr. Emma, and one of the things I always tell people, the first thing I meet them is, hi, my name is Rashida and I lived in Brazil. And so when I introduced myself at the event and I started speaking Portuguese, Dr. Emma, of course, light bulbs went off, and she has stayed in Brazil for several years. And we truly just bonded over that. And she was actually working on bringing Afro-Brazilians to Ghana, and I was working on the inverse. And I said, you know what, why don't we bring the diaspora to Brazil first? And then that will give them the connections. Because of the language barrier, it's hard for someone who can only speak Portuguese to come to a place like Ghana, but someone who can speak English, we're a little bit more adaptable to working around different languages, especially those of us from Ghana. The average Ghanaian can speak, 3 to 4 languages. So we're already inept to adapt to speaking multiple languages. So that is where Beyond the Waves was really born. Both of us were trying to think and we came together and created it.
That's fantastic. I love it when things are born from just a simple, hello, my name is, and this is where I've lived.
Yes.
that just opened the door to such interesting stuff. So the gap there, or the opportunity you see there, explain that a little bit, Rashida, since I have you right there.
Yes. So, I lived in Bahia specifically for 3 years, and I was so amazed. From the moment I learned about Salvador, I just said, this is heaven on earth, truly. And I just saw it as such a vibrant community, and it's often overlooked in the map of Brazil. I mean, most people go to think of Sao Paulo when they think of business, or Rio de Janeiro when they think of tourism, but Bahia has all those and much more. And especially when you're thinking of a product or service that is centered around Africanness and African people, Bahia is the place to go. I mean, if you're thinking about selling hair products or something like shea butter, which Ghana is renowned for, these are the areas that you can really get great market penetration. And I did not see, I mean, as Ghanaians, we see a lot of diasporans coming to Ghana and setting up businesses and really making a life for themselves here. And I said, you know what? Brazil, the barrier to entry is so much easier. I say this all the time, that I moved to Brazil by myself, not knowing the language, no friends, no nothing. And it was easier for me to set up my life and my business in Brazil than it was here in Ghana, a country I'm a native of. And I have my family here. So it just shows that the system there works, and it facilitates setting up business or just doing things there so much easier. So we saw that that was a gap for people who may think the culture shock of going from America to Ghana might be too steep for a lot of people. And Brazil, specifically Bahia, is almost like that buffer sweet spot. It gives you a bit of both.
Fantastic. Emma, when we first talked about this, it was that sense of, we want to bring people from Ghana. We want to have the exchange going on. We want Ghana to come here. We want, the folks from there to come here. What is it that you've wrapped around this solution that is creating an actual programmatic approach to this? Or, you literally have a structure set up now. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so we have this beautiful structure set up whereby we connect people from the diaspora effortlessly to Salvador, Brazil. Now, we have set up a workshop, right, whereby right from the entrance, or right from you getting into Bahia, we're going to help you with legal documentations. So when it comes to paperwork, things that you need to help you to set up your business there, set that process for you as well. We're also going to help with different types of workshops. So, I mean, in healthcare, in logistics, I mean, everything that is to equip you to be able to set up very well in Brazil so that your business can thrive. So that is where we come in. We're able to help you bridge that gap effortlessly through the structure that we've implemented and set in place.
We talked also about real estate, and you kind of stunned me at the price tags on some of that. Can you give an example or two of what people would run into with real estate market there?
Sure, absolutely. So when you're thinking of the real estate market in Salvador Bahia specifically, you can purchase a property for about 50,000 USD. And with that investment, you now are eligible for a Brazilian investor visa. Okay, and then you can put that property on Airbnb, where you can be generating anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a month, depending on the area. And from December till the end of March, that is a high season. So for those who, in certain areas, December is really the only high season. But Bahia, you got the high season all the way through till the end of March. So you have regular pricing, which is about $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and that can 4x, 5x during the high season. So if you just crunch the numbers on something like that, the ROI is exceptional. Where else can you see that?
That's fantastic. You just don't see that anywhere.
No.
Yeah. Emma, since you come from healthcare, talk about the healthcare in that area.
So healthcare in Brazil, I mean, in general, is spectacular. Okay, so when it comes to cosmetic medicine, so we're talking about all sorts of cosmetic medicine, not just dentistry, but medicine in general, it thrives so well in Brazil. So when it comes to healthcare, it's a very good area for you to invest in. And I mean, when it comes to return on investment, it's spectacular. Your return on investment when it comes to healthcare in Brazil is skyrocketed, it's up high, right? Because you have the different aspects of healthcare that you can invest in there. And even when it comes to elderly, I mean, taking care of the elderly. So there are situations whereby you could even set up healthcare specifically for the elderly, and it would thrive so well in such an environment or ambience. So the different aspects of healthcare, ranging from cosmetics all the way to, I mean, you name it, can all thrive very well in Bahia.
Yes. I mean, in Canada, we have what we call snowbirds. So, because I'm from the Arctic, okay, where I'm from the coldest part of Canada, and we have snowbirds who travel to Florida during the cold months and live there. But as you and I know, the American healthcare system is expensive. It's probably one of the most expensive in the world. Now, Brazil has public health care. So even in an emergency situation, you can be seen absolutely for free. And then when you want to go into a private facility, you're looking at 30 to 40% of the cost that you would pay in the United States. And a lot of the doctors in Brazil are US trained surgeons, are US trained doctors who have just now returned back to Brazil. So I know a lot of people have a stigma and maybe are concerned about the quality of practitioners there, but we can assure you that these practitioners are getting some of the world's top education and practice before coming back to Brazil.
So, Rashida, talk to me a little bit about the economic development engine that runs that area. What kind of industry are you seeing there?
So definitely we're seeing a lot of low income housing developments. That is huge right now, as well as tourism. Brazil, specifically Bahia, does not have the hotel capacity for the 3 million people that come for the Carnival every year. So a lot of people think Rio de Janeiro is the only place in Brazil that has Carnival, but they are so wrong. It couldn't be more wrong. There's carnivals all over the country. But Salvador Bahia has the second largest carnival, and it's so different. You're in the carnival itself. And they do not have, the hospitality industry does not have the capacity to take on these people. Most of them end up renting apartments and short-term rentals and things like that. So hotels would be huge. Tourism on the islands, because Bahia has the bay, and then it has all these beautiful islands that are well known, which is where actually affluent Brazilians go to vacation for the holidays. So affluent Brazilians from Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Rio Grande do Sul, other parts of Brazil that are not so beachy and tropical, they actually come up to Bahia and rent homes for $1,000 a day on these beautiful islands. And some of these islands, you can purchase property for $20,000, $30,000, literally beachfront property for that amount. And people are renting it for $1,000 a day during Réveillon, which is New Year's Eve week, and then also during Carnival. So tourism is huge. Real estate in the city of Salvador, as well as thinking of hotels, as well as the tech industry. A lot of people don't think about this, but the e-commerce industry in Brazil grew by 33% last year alone, because internet penetration is so huge in the country, as well as logistics. When I lived on the island, we lived in a remote area, literally incredibly remote, but we were still able to buy things online and still have a way logistically for it to be shipped to us on this remote island. So that just goes to show that the government and the system is operating in a way to make internet and e-commerce accessible. So think, if you want to start selling something in Brazil, you don't even have to have a shop. You can set it up in your home here in America, in Ghana, in Nigeria, wherever you are, and still be able to penetrate the market.
Yes, and then also agriculture, raw sugar, meat, alcohol, shea butter, and cocoa, cashew nuts, Brazil nuts. I mean, when it comes to agriculture, it's something that you can also look into.
Absolutely. Yes. And Bahia, as a very tropical environment all year round, is prime for these types of produce. And we're right by a major port as well.
For shipping it out, bringing it, I like it.
Yes.
So I want to hear, Emma, you know, when you first talked to me a little bit about this, I could just feel that sense of, I don't know, love that you have for this place. And I think, what did you fall in love with first, Emma? And what got into your soul about this place?
So when I first went to Brazil, I was in Sao Paulo. Okay, so Sao Paulo is considered the southeast of Brazil, and then Bahia is in the northwest. So Brazil has a couple of states. From Sao Paulo to Bahia is about, I think, about 3 hours by flight. Now, Bahia is like the hub of Africa. So when you are in Bahia, you feel at home. And there's a lot of similarities between Bahia and Africa. There's even a culture called Candomblé, which is like a religion, and it stems down all the way to Nigeria. So Nigeria has the same culture, even the food, some aspects of, yes, so some aspects of their clothing, food, even language, some bit of the Nigerian language, you can find it in Bahia as well. So it feels at home. Wow. So that's why I fell in love with the place.
It just felt comfortable to you. It felt like home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, I've had the privilege of seeing a sneak peek at your video that promotes all of this. And I must say the costumes and the food, the beautiful, you know, housing areas and the beachfront area. I mean, I live on an island. I live on an island that's 22 miles long on the coast of North Carolina. We're considered the southernmost island in the string of Outer Banks Islands. And in front of me is the intracoastal waterway. So I could see it, you know, literally from where I'm sitting just about. Behind me, about 2 blocks, is the Atlantic Ocean. And we have some beautiful beaches, honestly, but I mean, honestly.
Wow.
I mean, it's picture perfect what you were showing. These gorgeous white sand beaches and just, I don't know, the homes look so inviting to me. The watercolor is extraordinary. I mean, it's just this color of blue that you just don't see, you know, anywhere. So tell me a little bit about the culture, that if somebody kind of decided that this might be somewhere not only where they want to do business, they just want to live and thrive, what would be the feel? What would be the culture that they will experience? Tell me about the food they'd eat, the, you know, types of shops that they would be, you know, would be inviting to them there. Tell me a little bit about the lifestyle.
Oh my goodness. Well, look, I wanted to stay in Brazil for just 2 months, and I stayed for 3 years. So that should just
Okay,
go
that
to
says it
show
all.
you that it is so welcoming, and it is, you're just gonna, especially as a Black person, I mean, we're opening this up to all races, anybody who wants to join us, but as a Black person, especially living in the West, there is a feeling that comes when you are amongst your kin, and it is so incredibly welcoming. The people are kind, the people are friendly, the streets are filled with just unique fruits that you have never even seen before. And if you're a Ghanaian, you will know the #1 street food in Bahia is kose. So kose that we have on every corner here in Accra, you can get on every corner in Brazil. And it mirrors the same food in Nigeria called akara. So in Brazil, it's called akaraji. So just like Dr. Emma said, they have not lost their culture at all. They are so African. They're so tied to their culture. Most of the Black people there who practice candomblé can speak Yoruba. And it's the pure Yoruba that you would speak in Nigeria today. So a Nigerian who was born and bred in Lagos can come to Bahia and he can communicate with a Brazilian. Isn't that amazing? It's just going to feel like, truly, if Wakanda existed, you're going to have a developed, I wish I could describe it any other way. It's a developed African space. It's just magnificent. There's no words to describe it. It's clean, like you mentioned, and just everything.
No crime?
Yeah.
So no
Oh,
crime?
the crime.
Yeah.
So, you know, the crime, absolutely. I think people need to be aware of there is a wealth disparity in Brazil. And wherever you are going to have a wealth disparity, you are going to have crime. We deal with that here in Ghana. Every single house in Ghana is gated. Every single house in Nigeria is gated. So for those of us who are from here, we're going to be able to get into Brazil and know how to handle ourselves. But for someone who's maybe from Canada and America, who leaves their door unlocked, it might be a bit of a culture shock for you. But there's a saying in Portuguese that says, "Você não mexe, ninguém vai mexe," which means if you don't mess, no one will mess with you. So if you try to stay in the touristy areas, stay in crowded public areas, don't go out super late at night, and don't be too flashy. I mean, again, when you have wealth disparity and you're wearing Gucci, Rolexes, and all these things.
Well, that's just anywhere you go. Yeah, you just
exactly.
Don't do that. Yeah.
I mean, even in London, UK today, everyone is getting their phone stolen. It's an epidemic, right? So it's about being aware of your surroundings and not calling too much attention to yourself. But aside from that, most of the apartment buildings, I mean, where we will be staying and where we will be showing in our real estate masterclass, every building has a secured armed security guard. There's a gate, and then there's another gate you got to get through before you can even enter the building. So it's very secure.
Very safe.
Very
Okay,
safe.
so let's talk about how people participate in this. Emma, you want to give us a little rundown?
Yes. So we have our flyers, which will be going up very soon. It states the price of how much the entire itinerary is going to cost, right? So it's a 7-day event, and we have our welcome and introductory section on the first day. I think I'll just mention each one of them, and then Rashida can explain in detail. So our welcome and introductory day will be on the first day. And then on the second day, we have our real estate development section. Then we have our imports and exports sections as well. We have our legal clinics. We have time to be spent on the island, because as you already know, the mainland is different from the island. So what goes on in the mainland is slightly different from what happens on the island. So we'll have a little time for that as well. And which the islands, there is something called quilombos, right? So you have quilombos on the island, and then we'll return to Salvador. So Salvador is the capital of Bahia, but the islands, we have different types of islands there, and they have different names. So after everything, we'll return to Salvador, and then, it will be the exit point. Now, our site details the costs as well as how payments can be done. We've made it in such a way that payments can be done through Visa or MasterCard payments. So it's very flexible and it's very straightforward. Once you click on it, it's going to direct you on how, everything is going to be done. How payments are usually done when you're using your Visa or MasterCard. So it's the same process. It's nothing different. And then those people joining us from Ghana, they can also make their payments via cash. So we have both the cash options and then the card options. And it's very straightforward. Our flyers will be up and they will detail all that specifically. And then our website also has all the necessary information when it comes to making payments. So I think Rashida, right on the screen.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, this comes to mind, people, as far as paperwork that they need to get into the country, they just need their passport.
So depending on where you're from, if you're a Canadian or an American, you do need a visa now, but it's all done online in a very simple, easy format. And we will send all participants an invitation letter as well, as this is a program that started due to a partnership with the governor of Bahia and the government of Ghana. So this is a sub project from that partnership. So we have authority from them. I'll dive a little bit deeper into the seminars just to give people a little bit of an idea of what you're going to get. So the introduction to Salvador, the Prefectoria de Salvador, which is the city of Salvador, has been so gracious to send us a representative that's going to talk to us about the history of the city, what it means to be a Baiano, and we're going to take a tour of all the cultural spots in the city center, which is Pelourinho, which was actually the first city in Brazil. And then we work with another one of the top real estate firms in Brazil in Bahia. Sorry, my apologies. And they're going to talk to us in depth about what really unmask it. Let's ask our raw questions about what it takes to own property, rent property, build property in Brazil. And then we will be taken on a tour of 3 different types of properties. So I told you about a $50,000 property that you can buy, fix up, and turn into an Airbnb. Then we'll take you to a $250,000 to $500,000 property. And then for our big ballers, we got our $1 million plus properties. So you can see the range of what you can get in the space. And then we do an entrepreneurship and innovation. As a tech entrepreneur myself, and I mean, Dr. Emma, you're an entrepreneur, we know that a lot of these people who are coming on here are going to want to start a business. So we've partnered with several entrepreneurs, fashion designers, healthcare facilitators, and tech entrepreneurs as well, who will come and share their journey as what it takes to be an entrepreneur in Brazil, and taxes and all that kind of stuff, hiring and all that fun stuff. And then trade and market expansion. Brazil and Africa already has a very strong trade and market relationship. But we've been so gracious to be able to get an expert from the Brazilian Trade Port Authority from Bahia to come in and talk to us about, again, what it takes to successfully and legally import and export into the country and out of the country. And then last but not least, a legal and immigration insight, because we are sure that at the end of this seminar, you are going to want to stay in Brazil. You're going to cancel your return ticket right then and there. So we have set
not going home.
No, like you're calling home and saying, I'm not coming back. Sorry, guys. And so you'll get a one-on-one private session with a lawyer in Brazil. And you will get to sit down and privately talk to them about the things that you've been thinking about. Because I'm sure throughout the session, you're coming up with your own ideas. Mm-hmm. And this will give you the opportunity to kind of bounce that off with someone who understands what is necessary, as well as immigration. There's a lot of people who have Ghanaian passports, Nigerian passports, who are looking for other ways to possibly get additional passports. And Brazil makes it incredibly easy. And there's so many incredible routes to do that. And then on top of these educational seminars, we have a one-on-one session with Dida, which is an all-female drumming band, which is one of the oldest and longest running drumming bands in Bahia. We have a private dinner on a beautiful beach called Ilha de Maré. So we'll take a wonderful boat right there, and have a private dinner and watch the sunset. What kept me in Brazil was I was working with a real estate developer, the Martinet Group, and we developed Brazil's largest digital nomadic hub on one of the islands called Ilha de Chinaré, on a community called Garapuá. And just imagine, you are on the most perfect beach with the most perfect water, with the most perfect people, and you can do your remote work because the developer was actually able to get fiber optic Wi-Fi on the island. He was the first to get it on the island. So we have incredibly fast, high-speed internet, the facilities. So we're going to take all the guests over there to the community to get to see this digital nomadic hub. And if you're a tech person, you work online, you want to explore a little bit, you're always welcome. And all participants of Beyond the Waves get 10% off anytime they want to stay at Canoa Zoo, which is the digital nomadic hub. And there's so much more. We have dinners. We have people from Netflix Brazil who will be hosting a dinner with us, just to get us into every single sector, because we're bringing people from medicine, tech, art, athletics, so even my husband is a huge basketball fan, and his dream is to set up an English basketball camp in Brazil. So we're bringing athletics as well. So it's just going to be everyone, every taste, every flavor you have, you'll get it. You'll get a bite.
I may have somebody who can help your husband with that.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Oh, wow. This sounds like a dream come true. I think that I wanted to ask back at that question I was asking about the documentation coming through. You said it was easy to do all that paperwork online. How fast can that happen? I mean, if somebody's, looking at it now and going, how much time does it take? Because how sometimes things like that processes can hold up things. Do you have any idea?
Absolutely. So according to the Brazilian Embassy's website, it should not take more than 10 business days for it to be processed.
So it's not
Yes,
months,
please.
it's just days.
No,
Okay. All
no.
right. Well, some
Yes,
people
even
would
here
think it would
in
be
Ghana,
months.
no, even here in Ghana, it does not take time. As long as you have all your documentation ready, that's all you need. And the process is very fast. And we have a great relationship with the embassy and the ambassador in Ghana. So they understand that all of our participants and you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever.
Well, so what is the first step for, well, first of all, did we determine what dates? Did we share what dates?
Yes. So March 21st to March 30th is going to be the trip of
Okay.
2025.
Yes. And if it's very successful, we know it will be, maybe you'll do another one later in the year.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You're gonna sell out. This is so how many seats do you have available for this trip? How many people are you
So
looking for?
we have 15 seats. We already have 7 seats filled. So we need half more to fill it up. And
Yes.
once we put this, we haven't even launched officially. This is just our friends and family. So I'm sure once we launch this officially, we'll sell out within the first week.
Yeah, I don't think you have any trouble with that at all. Fantastic. I can't wait to get this out there to people and let them know about it. This is a terrific and very innovative way to look at, I won't call it a problem because it's an opportunity, but you saw a gap of what could be that wasn't there and just figured out a good way, a very constructive and very, structured approach to how to move this forward. So and it came from love. It came from loving the place that you were in, where you got to live there. It came from, the business side of seeing the possibilities there. So I'm sure that Bahia is very excited to have you two working with them. So this is terrific. Well, we're going to provide as much information as we can out there for everybody to jump on board. But before I exit this, tell me, both of you individually, if you wish. I'll start with you, Emma. Who are you looking for to fill those seats and to help out with moving this even further than maybe you dream?
Everyone who has great passion for innovation, right? For business, for networking, please, everything is open for you. We just want you to come and join us, because this thing is made with lots of love, lots of passion, and we can't wait to have you join us. So anyone willing, please come. The door is open. Come with everything you have, and we'll make sure that you have an epic,
memorable experience, and hopefully more than that. Perhaps
Absolutely.
a new home or a second home or a business opportunity.
Yes.
Rashida, what do you think? Who do you think needs to be involved?
We are looking for people who, like Dr. Emma said, who are innovative, who are thinking outside the box, who have exhausted their investments within whatever their area that they're in and want to explore new opportunities. And also those who have a deep respect for Africans and African culture, because that is what makes Bahia, is the way that they revere Africans and African culture and the way that they've been able to preserve it. And so if that is you, Bahia is 100% the place for you.
Wow. I think you've sold us on this. So speaking on behalf of everybody that would be listening and seeing this, it's an easy sell for you, because you absolutely glow, both of you, when you talk about it. So this is terrific. Well, I want to thank you so much, and know that we will share with everyone who would be listening or watching this the information, the links to where you can find out more information that you can get involved. And do so soon, because they only got 7 seats left. So, or get on a waiting list. Maybe that would be the thing to do if it's getting full. And see if maybe you can jump in where somebody can't make it, or later in the year when they do it again, that you can get there. So if it doesn't gel up with your schedule right now, it doesn't mean that you can't be involved. So be sure to connect up with these ladies and get ready to have a good time and explore, because that's what we're here on this planet for, is to explore how we can help each other and how we can enjoy our lives while we're doing it. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. Thank you to all who are watching. You all stay with me, and I'm saying goodbye to everyone else until the next time we see you on Front Runners Innovate. Bye-bye.
Okay, obrigada. Ciao.
Gratidão. Até logo. Gratidão.